Progress is the new religion of secular society. It has filled the void left behind by the absence of traditional religions such as Christianity or Judaism. It is better than either of these because it represents equality, excitement, and moving forward. The Messiah of this new religion of progress is technology. Technology, so the dogma goes, allows us to steamroll over any boundaries into the glorious future. Why then, today, is there a huge disparity between technological progress and cultural progress? Devices are becoming faster and faster at delivering content, but the content itself is not evolving. There are no great works of art associated with most of these new digital mediums. Our culture has become stuck. Recently, friends of mine contributed to a Facebook post which asked what our favourite top 10 books of all time were. I noticed that hardly any books made the cut that were written after around 1997. A couple of days later, a similar post that asked Facebook users to share their top 15 favourite albums of all time yielded similar results. And there were almost no artists involved in these lists who have been most active in the last 15 or 20 years. A great exception to this dismal trend is TV. The modern American TV series such as The Wire or Breaking Bad or Scandinavian programs like The Killing or The Bridge really do herald, without need for irony or exaggeration, a golden age in TV. Had a similar Facebook post been made about our top 10 favourite TV shows, almost certainly there would have been a higher proportion of contemporary content. So I ask myself, why is this? Why has TV succeeded where almost all other mass mediums, such as music and film, have failed? I do not claim to know for certain the whole answer to this pressing question, but I feel that it has something to do with the mediums TV can be enjoyed on. Platforms like Netflix and networks like HBO have a strong sense of hierarchy and structure that say musicians encouraged to go down the routes of YouTube and SoundCloud are not given. Indeed, many of HBO's programmes, such as The Wire, were not an overnight success, but the network had enough faith in the programme to allow it to slowly gain popularity. How different this seems to the precarious position of the musician. In his book, Cult of the Amateur, Andrew Keane criticises Web 2.0 platforms such as YouTube or MySpace for their inability to nurture truly great art. There are no iconic YouTube works of art. It is alarming and somewhat embarrassing for artists who have, for a long time, flirted with ideas of anarchy, to realise that art needs structure and hierarchy in order to survive. Anarchy does not create the flourishing of human creativity that perhaps we thought it would. And if we want to save art, we must re-examine some pretty and fashionable taboos. If anarchy is bad for art, then perhaps the internet is too, or the World Wide Web at least. For what is the World Wide Web if not digital anarchy, a non-hierarchical network? It smacks of the naivety of hippies, disillusioned with the failings of the experiment in communal living, yet not quite prepared to re-examine their core beliefs, and instead try to recreate a digital global commune. Tim Berners-Lee, the inventor of the World Wide Web, once remarked on the issue of net neutrality that organisations would only be able to take control of the internet when they prized the keyboards from our cold dead hands. That's a quote. A line that sounds as if it were directly lifted from a 1950s B-movie. The fact is that any pernicious organisation would just have to log on like everyone else. The internet is not impervious to corruption because of its anarchic structure, but its anarchic structure in fact leaves it more vulnerable to corruption. Just look at the way companies such as Amazon run rampant across the globe, avoiding taxes and creating new monopolies. Anarchy wants to destroy capitalism, but in the end, it ends up working for it. The fact is, fairness is an institution, egalitarianism is an institution, freedom is an institution. Without infrastructure, the vulnerable are not set free, but just become more easily taken advantage of. And the first wave of victims to our shoddy anarchic culture were the artists. Unfortunately, I know how this diatribe will come across to many. For to criticise technology is to be a curmudgeon, a Luddite. Any reservations will simply be regarded as evidence of an anti-youth, anti-liberty or anti-progress stance. But I'm not a technophobe. I recognise when technology works for us. I work in a school and we have a new pupil who only speaks French. She's been using Google Translate to communicate with her teachers and other pupils. How would this be possible without that technology? I'm not advocating pitchforks and burning torches at the walls of Silicon Valley, just a nuanced critique of digital technology that acknowledges both its failings and its successes. And what I resent is this monopoly of our future, and we should resist it with all our might. I prefer to believe that the future is up for grabs, and that we do not have to accept lock, stock and barrel this predetermined version. As Marshall McLuhan said, there is no such thing as inevitability as long as there are those who are willing to contemplate what is happening. Progress is not like the mighty river that Vince's techno-evangelist claimed it was in the opening sketch. It is not an unstoppable force of nature with a predetermined course. It is more like a maze that has routes leading us towards our goal, but that also has routes that lead to dead ends. We must recognise when we have reached a dead end, or we will become stuck. And I'd like to leave you with a quote from C.S. Lewis. We all want progress, but progress means getting nearer to the place where you want to be. And if you have taken a wrong turning, then to go forward does not get you any nearer. If you're on the wrong road, progress means doing an about turn and walking back to the right road. And in that case, the man who turns back soonest is the most progressive man. Thank you.